If you find this show informative or funny, you should tell your friends, your family. You got fingers. You got fingers. You got fingers. You got fingers. Come on.
5 different shows.
5 different shows.
5 days a week.
5 days a week. 5 different topics. 5 different amazing. You got finger. You got finger. You got finger. Ow! You got finger.
Fingered by Randy and Jason.
So, kind of continuing with our interdimensional traveler stories that have happening. Not James Smith in this instance, but like a different type of one. So this is a story that is kind of it's been around for quite a while, actually. I saw that it was in some books published in the 80s, and it was published in another book in the 90s. And then it's recently gotten really big on like YouTube and stuff like that. So it's sort of an urban legend. And I don't know to what extent it's based in reality at all. Like did some of this shit happen and then like the interpretation is what's crazy or whatever. But the story begins in 1954, Japan, Haneda Airport. So a plane arrives from Europe. So people get off the plane. A businessman, you know, kind of your 1950s businessman, I imagine, with like the little top hat, not top hat, but the little fedora and all that, probably.
Right.
He has a beard. They exits the plane. He's a white guy. He speaks French, but he also speaks Japanese. So in his wallet, he has currency from several different nations. So he's traveled. He's a well-traveled businessman.
All right, just really quickly.
Yeah.
Is this like someone is this a first-hand account or what?
This is, like I said, it's from Japan, and the customs agents are the people who primarily supposedly shared the story.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So what happens is he gets off the plane, and then the customs agents go and they, you know, ask to see the passport. He takes it out, and they're almost about to like let him go by.
Okay.
When they're like, wait, what is this? And this customs agent's a young one, but he notices this irregularity.
Right.
And where it's like the country of origin is called Taured. Taured.
The country of Taured.
Taured.
All right.
So they're like, homeboy, this fucking place doesn't exist. There's no country called Taured. And like he's like fucking, you know, it's a French. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't know how do French people sound. Yeah, he's like,
yeah.
So he's going crazy, right? So they're like, it doesn't exist. He becomes livid. So the airport guys think like, okay, there must be some kind of misunderstanding, because like, you know, like how does this guy think he's from this place that like doesn't exist? They go and they pull out maps and they have him point to where he's supposed to be from. And he points to this place in between France and Spain.
Okay.
And they're like, no, that's the border of France and Spain. He's insistent that Taured is a place that's been there, and he gets really angry, and he says that the nation has existed for over 1,000 years. Like he's like, what the fuck is your problem?
Okay.
So they look at his passport. It's been stamped many times. The man has been traveling all over the world with this passport
for quite a bit of time. And
yeah.
He's got through many passport checks, customs, and everything's been fine.
Yeah, there's like all over the world it's been stamped. And so, you know, so a lot of people take that to mean like clearly like was in another dimension or something.
I call that incompetence.
But I call it a bunch of people who pre 9/11 who weren't doing their jobs.
Yeah, right.
Also, I saw some YouTube videos that were covering it, and they're like, where is the video surveillance? And I'm like, it's 1954.
It's 1954, you idiot.
Videotape didn't fucking exist, and there was no digital.
Why didn't they have him take off his shoes?
So, anyways, he tells them the company that he worked at, and so they want to contact his employer. The company doesn't exist.
Was it Taured Incorporated?
Yeah, right. Taured Incorporated.
We get it right the first time.
So, anyways, so the company doesn't exist. They're like, and he says he needs to get to. He wants to get to his hotel. He has a reservation. They call up the hotel. No reservation.
So did they? No reservation at the hotel, but the hotel did exist, right?
It does exist.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Whatever the hotel was, he said he was supposed to stay at. They call it. They're like, we don't have a reservation for this guy.
So if this is interdimensional travel, the country that he was part of does not exist. The company, but the hotel's still there.
The hotel's still there,
doing all right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Japan was still there too.
Yeah, and so was Japan. Yeah.
You know, but I mean,
As far as he knows, that might have been called Centauri 8.
Yeah. Right.
He's like, oh, Japan, whatever you call it.
Yeah. I mean, Priceline might have existed back then too.
Yeah. Right.
So
they did have surveillance cameras.
So, anyways, they begin to search him, and they find his checkbook. Inside his checkbook are checks for Taured for a bank that doesn't exist.
Okay, and these are like, I assume these are legitimate looking checks.
Yeah. According to the customs agents, like, this stuff looks real.
This sounds like a backwards Frank Abagnale to me.
Right?
Like, he just went a little too far. So if you just fucking say like you believe it.
He's all, if you change these routing numbers right here at the end, it gives you 2 weeks. But if you make up the whole fucking country, it takes forever. Anyways, the charade goes on for a while. The customs agents get him a room and take him to a hotel high up so he can go out the window.
Okay.
And they post 2 guards outside his door. So there's like nowhere for him to go, supposedly. Like he'd have to jump out the window. And then in other accounts I heard of the story, the window can't even open. It doesn't even open.
This is like the Game of Thrones prison where there's like, if you leave, you're dead.
Yeah. But I also kind of like don't really buy that. I think like back then, windows probably opened to your detriment. They're like, if you want to die, you fucking die, you idiot. But I don't think they were doing safety locks necessarily. But maybe I'm wrong. So anyways, so they take him up to the hotel. It's very high up. 2 guards are posted out the door. So the guards are there overnight. They knock on the door. Nobody opens. Nobody is there.
Like no response.
No response. They let themselves into the room. They go inside. The bed hasn't been slept in. All of his personal, he's not there. All his personal items aren't there. But a bar of soap was used. Like, like the maid would have changed put fresh soap in there.
Right, yeah.
So, but a bar of soap had been used. So, some of the crazier, wackier theories think that he was an interdimensional traveler and somehow used some of the soap as part of one of the key components for the travel. Other things just say maybe the maid was shitty. Other things say that like maybe he did take a shower, but maybe he phased back into his own dimension while in that room. And people who believe in the interdimensional travel think that he somehow ended up on the plane from another dimension though, because he didn't have a seat on that plane.
Right.
When they
he
went,
actually got on the plane and never had like an assigned seat or anything. He was just on the plane.
So people who believe in interdimensional travel think that he just appeared on that plane from his dimension into ours. And
like a bolt of lightning hit the plane. Everything got changed. The only thing that got changed was him on another flight. So all of his, but here's where it gets like really stupid. All of his documents disappeared or were destroyed after the manhunt failed. So, a manhunt comes into play. They start looking everywhere for him, thinking that he's escaped. They can't find him anywhere. I assume at this point they think he's like a spy or something.
That's what I think. I think number one, I think the story's probably not even true.
No.
To me, it just screams of bullshit because they don't have a name for him.
Right.
And I still think like if somebody said that if they were from a made-up country, everybody would know, like, yeah, this guy's name is Frank Abagnale or something like that. Yeah. There would be like a name. He doesn't have a name. That's where I get. That's where I'm a little.
That sounds like a bad passport.
Yeah, sounds like
on Taured, they should put names on those passports.
And then the documents that they did seize from him also disappeared. So the more conspiracy theorist people think that like some kind of governmental agency, and that they covered up like what he was and that kind of stuff. And I mean, I wouldn't be. I kind of think that if the story is based in any kind of truth, I go with the spy theory.
Right.
You know, and which you said it. I had already been thinking it. I haven't actually read the spy. There is no official spy theory I've seen anywhere, but it does make sense that if you were a spy or, you know, you were, or even some sort of like illicit businessman of some kind, maybe, and you wanted to travel without being able to be identified and found out for whatever reason. And this is during the Cold War. Right. Maybe you just completely go with like fucking made up, like credentials. I mean, during that
seems a little excessive to make up a place that doesn't exist at a company that doesn't exist. You could.
It does sound like something that would eventually get you caught.
Yeah, that would be more of a red flag than anything. You're kind of betting on the fact that people aren't going to do their jobs.
Yeah, but if that part of the story is true, he clearly was able to travel for some time with that passport before anything happened. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like if let's just pretend like the story's based in truth, then it's been stamped. So it was working. He was traveling the world with that.
Unless the stamps themselves were forged. I mean, he forged checks, he forged passports.
Right.
If we're going down that line of logic, then why not the stamps?
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know. I think if this is a legitimate story.
I believe his passport, though, was stamped. I think it was stamped then, too. Like when he got there.
Right.
But they caught it. They were like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
So, like, according to that, like you could see that it was authentic enough that it got him through several times.
Yeah. I don't know. I think he probably said, hey, like to like the guard. There was 2 guards there. I don't know what those guards ended up doing to leave their post and let this guy get away. But I'm thinking he probably was whispering in one of their ears, like, you want to go to the land of Taured? He's all, I got a job for you at my company.
Right.
Like, it'll be great. And then they let him out. And they're like, please. Or is the Japanese guys? Yeah, he was French, right?
He was French.
He was French, and the Japanese guys.
Well, he was technically Randy. He was Taured.
Well, Taured's guy. It's French.
Or would it be a Tauredian?
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 I think it's a Tauredian. I think that's what they like to be called.
Yeah.
If you can find them.
If you could find them.
Yeah, I think someone let him out, and they just like made up a bunch of bullshit.
But yeah, so all the documents are gone. And that's what makes me go complete bullshit.
Yeah, there's like for all the details that are there.
Yeah,
some of like the most crucial, like most basic details are missing.
Yeah. So
yeah, they never took a picture of this guy.
Nope.
Like they put him in a cell, never took a picture of him.
Nope.
Come on.
Yeah,
they would take a picture of him.
You would think so, or if they did, it disappeared too. And like if he was a spy, like I was reading about, I think like the first British spy agency. Mm-hmm. I don't remember the guy's name. It was like Cummings, which was like ironic. Mm-hmm. But he created like an invisible disappearing ink using cum.
Oh wow!
Because it was one way where you could like basically they would have the source of the ink on them. Oh. So the agents would go, they'd fucking beat off, they'd write the secret message and come, and then they would send it off.
Holy shit!
Yeah. So there's like all kinds of crazy shit that was. I mean, this was a little earlier than that, but yeah, but you know, Cold War spy stuff is that kind of.
Do you think he jacked his way out of the prison?
You think he jacked his way back to his dimension?
Probably. He had the ingredient with him the whole time.
I mean, that must have been what the soap was for.
That's why this is solved.
The man from Taured, expert jacker.
Expert jacker. The fucking escape jacker. Well, I guess that one's closed. You're welcome, Internet.
Case closed.
If you have a question for Fingered by Randy and Jason, send questions or topic suggestions to fingeredpodcast@gmail.com. You can get Fingered by Randy and Jason 5 days a week on either iTunes, Google Play, or SoundCloud. And you can follow us on social media. Twitter, you can find us @Fingered Podcast, Facebook.com/Fingered Podcast,
make sure to use the hashtag #GetFingered. And have you got fingered by Randy and Jason? Leave an awesome 5-star review on iTunes or Google Play. Until the next time you get fingered.